Hello, this is Ray from Bricksmaven, and in this video we are going to be looking at the slots element in Bricksbuilder. So if you guys watch my latest video or the previous video, it was about, where is that? The video is right here, the flexible intro section component. So I actually created this component. You can see the whole walkthrough how I created it. It's very flexible, has different kinds of options in it. You can all watch it in the previous video. And in this video, I actually added a slot element to it. Slots can only be added to components, so keep that in mind. I just want to explore it a little bit and show you guys some possibilities or some use cases. The first one I actually want to look at is the possibility to add elements into the slot element when you were in a component. So let's say I created a component. Okay, in this case, this is the component, the slot card here. Let's start here, right? And as you can see, it has a slot element in it. Because like I said, slots can only be added into a component. So once we go to edit component, and here we have a slot. If I try to drag this header into the slot element, it does not work. I would wish that it worked, because if you've worked with Figma, you can insert elements into a slot element when you are in the component. What would this allow us to do? So let's say this same card, this setup. So I have my heading, I have my text, my button, and my image, right? I'll have it all in the slot element. And then once we move to the front, I can then move it around, because as you can see, the traditional way it works a component, look, we cannot edit anything here. We cannot move anything. And now with the now that we have the slots element, we can add elements to the card, but we cannot move any element. So this is what I'm actually missing. I would have loved to see that. That we'll just have like a placeholder component for a card, and then we can just add elements into it. And then on the front end, you can then just move elements around or add elements. But in this case, we have slots. So we can, with the slot element, we can still do the same thing. So like I said, we can add another heading. Whoops, what am I doing? Heading. You can add a text, and you can add a button to it. And obviously here we can move things around, right? That's basically when it comes to slot, that's basically what you can do. So you already have a component, and then you can add extra elements to it. Before, if you wanted to create a separate, let's say you had this card and now you wanted to maybe move this, not even that, maybe you wanted to add a whole new element to it. You had to go to the component, right mouse click, and then unlink the component, and then make a separate change. And then you might turn that new card that you've created into another component. But now with slots, you can actually add extra elements to it. So I just wanted to showcase that first example that I would have wished that I could arrange the cards without having to edit the component, so that we can create placeholder components. But we can still use placeholder components, and I'm going to show you. That's the next thing I want to show you. So placeholder components, let's say I'm going to show it in the intro section here. So this intro section, let's say on top of this card, let's say I had this section, and on top of this cards, maybe I wanted to add it. We wanted to add like 3 images, right? We can do the same thing here. So I already went and created separate image components. So within the slot here, I'm going to add a component called media UL. So this media UL also contains a slot, because this media UL is an unordered list. So if we go to edit component, you can see it's an unordered list, right? So that means we can add list items to this media UL. So let's go back, and the images that will be the list items, I already created one and turned that into a component, which is media item. So this media item is now a list item here. And funny thing is now we can have, as you can see, I can have a image on top of, underneath my intersection and on top of the cards. I can also duplicate this. And now we have 3 images, right? I can even duplicate it again. And then we have 4, right? It's set to, I think this is, what's it called? Yeah, row. So as you can see, we already have an existing component, and then we just added another, actually a nested a component into it. We can even add more stuff. Even in this slot, I could go ahead and, I mean, you just drop anything you want into it. It could be, let's say, could be a video, right? So I add a video and there it is. I could also take the video out and put it on top or beneath, you know? So with this slot, I can just construct a whole new, I can just keep on adding elements into it and build a whole new section, a whole new kind of design, right? So it gives us a lot of freedom. Okay, so this is the first one. I'm going to remove this video. Just delete that. Maybe put this at 3 images. And one more thing to see at the front. I want to show you the, wait, I didn't save. I want to show you the code so that you see that it's correct, right? So you can see the UL and then you see the list items here. So these are all, the UL is a component and also the li is a component, the list items. So you see that it all checks out, it looks good. So let's go back. I'm going to go to my next example. It's a card. I was already speaking about cards just now, and cards, if you turn them into components, you actually, yeah, what you see is what you get. Obviously, you could have added some props to it, right? You can hide the image, you can hide the text, maybe hide the button, or maybe you had a link. You instead of a button, you place a link, right? You could have done all those kind of things. But then, let's say if you wanted to add an extra element to it, if it's something that you've not thought about already, then there will be no way to add it unless you obviously go back to the component, edit here, and then hide it, and then you create another prop. You could do that. Or if it's just, let's say you just want to add a simple element to it, here's where slots come into play, right? So in this case, in this card, I have 3 places where I can place my slots. So I have one underneath the heading, one underneath the text, and one on top of the image. So let's say I wanted to add like a, I don't know, maybe it could be like a status component. Created one status. So we have status here. So I can now add that, right? Maybe I want it underneath the heading. Yeah. We can place it here too. Or I'll just put it back. And then maybe underneath the heading, let's say this was a blog section or something, I could add like reading time, right? We could also add like, if it's like categories, terms, you can do all that here. You could also move that underneath the text if you wanted to. But this gives us the possibility to add elements. As you can see, that's the way slots work. It just gives you more ways to add elements to a existing component. And now I'm going to present, this is the last example. This is one of the examples I have really had struggles with. And that is the list element. So before in the past, without the slot element, this is what would have happened. So if I dragged in, let's say I have a card here. Okay, we have a card, as you can see. And I dragged in a list element, right? So this list element contains 3 list items, right? This is an ordered list. And first things first, normally you would have been able to edit this, right? So I would have exposed the props that you can change these the text of the list items. But in this case, I turned the list items into components. And once you do that, I cannot seem to expose the props on the parent. So these are the child components or the nested components, but I cannot expose their props on the parent which is problematic to me. Someone told me that you can do it, but I can't find it in the document. So to be nice, something nice to have. If someone says that it's possible, I would like to see it. Please point me in the right direction, because that would be nice. Because in this solution that I have, or let's say the traditional solution, you would see the props here, right? Because I would not make this components. But for my example here, for this example that I'm running, I had to turn them into components to actually show you what I'm about to do now. So what I'm about to do is go back to the component. I'm going to delete all these, and I will just have a placeholder unordered list component, because here on the slot of the unordered list, I can now drag in my list items, and I can add as much as I want, and I can change them here, right? And I can also swap the icon off, of course, right? I can change the icon. So this is more flexible. I can place this list item anywhere, this component, I can place it anywhere with the slot, and I can always change the list items. And before, if I just had the 3 options, I could only change those 3 options. I cannot add an extra list item, or else I go to the main component. But then if I add more list items there, it will be added everywhere, and that will be a mess. But slots give me the opportunity or the possibility to display more list items on a set instance of the component. So this is very this helps a lot. And these are instances where you can use them. Obviously, there will be there will be some challenges where slots will be able to help you build different stuff. These are just the main situations where that I've come across, especially having to detach components. If you ever have to detach a component, then that will be a good reason to use a slot, right? So think about that in your own projects, when you're working with your own projects. This is just a rule to just keep in mind. If I have to detach this component because I want to create another kind of, I want to add more elements, you might be thinking of adding a slot element to your component. So I hope this was educational. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you see possibilities, because slots can be used in, you can use them in your hero sections or different kind of sections. If you're already planning to add extra elements, you can also use it that way. And that was it, actually. And there's only one more thing that I would love to see, is if it was possible to like collapse the whole parent, right? Because now you can only collapse the slot. But anyway, nevertheless, I like this, like the way it's set up. And that was it. If I would like to know your thoughts, if you have any questions for me, if anybody has a solution about concerning exposing the nested component props on the main component, please let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be making more videos. I'm going to build a one-pager. I'm just going to take you guys through the process of building a one-page site from Figma to Bricks, and then I think that will be very educational. Look forward to it. Like and subscribe to stay updated, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.